Hello, my friends, my brothers and sisters of the spoken word. I am Brian, the speaker for the dead, coming to you today with a complete, total, and full-length breakdown, a spoiler version breakdown of Zack Snyder's Justice League.
And to make a long story short, too late!
So I've already done a spoiler-free review. This will be the spoilerized version. I'm going to get into nitty-gritty details and the whole 9 yards. So if you have not seen the Zack Snyder cut of Justice League, don't watch this. Go watch that first, and then come back and watch this and tell me if I got it right or wrong. I'm full of crap or whatever. Just be nice. Be nice. Because I've already lost one subscriber because I didn't just gush all over this film like a teenage girl with her first boyfriend.
No! No!
He was really upset with me that I didn't just love this. And I have to say right off the bat that has been one of my biggest problems with the Zack Snyder cut, the Zack Snyder, hubbub over the last couple of years, is that, I'm glad the fans felt this strongly about this, and I'm glad they got what they wanted. I'm glad that Zack Snyder got a chance to finish this. That I'm glad for the fans that we got a win, that the studios actually listened to the fans who said, this is crap, we deserve better than this, give it back to the guy who had it originally. But I also don't understand the people who were like, they're going to love this no matter what it is because they got what they wanted.
Not sure I deserve that.
Like I said, this person who unsubbed from me because I didn't just absolutely love this film. It was a bizarre thing. You can go check out the comments on my previous review. You don't have to watch the review. Just look at the comments. This guy unsubbed from me in the most childish way, which is fine. People don't have to be subbed to me, and if a minor difference of opinion causes you to unsub from me, I'm not sure why you were here in the first place.
I may have deserved that.
That we can't have minor disagreements and still walk away civilly, agreeing to disagree. I mean, that's what my channel's about. He didn't even, there wasn't any real discussion of anything. It was just like, he assumed things about me, made accusations and made inferments about things that I had said or done that made me like I thought I was some godlike figure pronouncing judgment upon this film from on high, which there was not anything of what I had actually done. But apparently there's no room for discrepancy. There's no room for disagreement. You have to love this film. You have to love this film. If you don't love this film, we will destroy you. It's bizarre. I don't understand that thinking. I'm the kind of person that if I love it, I'm going to tell you I loved it, and I'm going to gush, and I'm going to be honest with you about what I think and what I feel. First time I watched this, I liked it, and I thought it was good. It was hands down, far and away better than what we got from Joss Whedon. Joss Whedon gave us a Travis Shamockery of a horror show of a Justice League movie. It was nothing what it should have been. Darn. And this is a much better thought out, much better. It's a better cohesive story, and there's just it's a better movie by far and away. I mean, if you were to put them if you were going to weigh them on a set of scales, it'd be like, all right, here's Joss Whedon and here's Zack Snyder's cut. I mean, you wouldn't even be able to see the Joss Whedon one because it would have launched it into the atmosphere because the other one has so much more weight to it. But I'm going to warn you. I watched this film the first time and thought it was good. Started watching it again, and the problems that I saw with it or that I had with it got bigger the second time around watching it. Now, since I did my review, I've been watching other people's reviews. I watched Critical Drinker. The Ambassador did some stuff on this. I've listened to Stone Cold Loki or Loki's Mornings of Mischief. I've listened to the Valkyries and their take on this. I've tried to listen to quite a few reviews to see what everybody else was saying. And some of what they're saying, you're going to hear me say because they're valid criticisms. And some of what they say, I look at a little differently. And I don't want to get too nitpicky. I was a little mad at Critical Drinker because there were some things that I saw that I was going to be like, yeah, I'm going to say it. And then I'm like, dude, you stole my... Because he saw some of the same problems that I'm seeing and that I saw the first time around. But I mean, there's so much coming at you. You just don't have time to really pay attention to it. The second viewing, yeah, I kind of wish I hadn't watched it a second time because I saw a lot more problems. And like I said, the minor things that I noticed the first time around have become much bigger gaping holes, which doesn't make it a bad film, okay? I'm not saying I hate this. I'm not saying, I wish it had never been done. This is the worst thing ever. Okay, so if that's what you're going to hear, just turn me off now. Because if you can't stand criticism of Zack Snyder, then you're not going to like this review. Because this review is going to be mainly what I saw went wrong with this film. Now, I'll tell you up front, the villain in this, way better this time around. Way better than it was. Steppenwolf doesn't come off to me as a punchline. I mean, I kept thinking, really? You named him after a 1970s band? I mean, he come in the original Joss Whedon version. We'll call it the theatrical version. He was terrible. He's like a cartoon character of a villain. Like he didn't seem menacing. He just seemed lame. And this one, like, the vocal work is better. I don't know what they did to change it. Maybe it was just the way I was hearing it, or the fact that they beefed the character up and made him more menacing. Your behavior is most suspicious. I mean, so the effects on him are way better. The effects overall really are way better. Now, this has a very heavy Zack Snyder feel to it. Okay, you definitely know this is a Zack Snyder film, which is it's fine. It's fine. It's a Zack Snyder film. It's supposed to look a certain way. And most directors have a very definite style that's kind of all their own. I prefer directors that can kind of float in and out of different styles. Spielberg was always able to do that. Lucas was able to do that. I mean, there's directors that kind of fall into a niche and you know exactly who's doing the film. And there's ones that are like, they can break genres. They can jump between things and stuff. Zack Snyder's not really one of those guys. His films have a feel to them, which is fine. It's just a very genre-ish type thing. But you do get a lot more of that feel in this. The Amazons, I think, come off much better in this version of the film, and still not great. And I'll explain why. But I thought they were used to better effect this time around. There's still some issues with them. You get way more backstory. You get character backgrounds. You get a build-up. You get a slow burn that helps you understand what's happening, why things are going the way they are. You actually get a backstory for Cyborg. But I want to be careful, because the criticism I got from Mr. I'm unsubbing from you was that I talk a lot and say a little. Okay. So I like to talk. That's why I'm a YouTuber. Anyway, so I mean, overall, everything just comes off better. Ben Affleck, I have not liked Ben Affleck as Batman. I have not felt like he did a good Bruce Wayne or a good Batman. In this, I don't know what the change was exactly. He felt more like Batman Bruce Wayne to me. So I did enjoy Ben Affleck's performance. He it felt more like Batman to me, other than the fact that he's still using guns, which is something Batman doesn't do. Now, I know there's supposedly versions of Batman that he actually does use guns, but no, that's not Batman, in my opinion. It's not Batman. That is the one quintessential thing that makes Batman Batman, is he has a thing against guns. Now, I do not. I love guns. I love the Second Amendment. I have guns. I own guns. I shoot guns. So don't get me wrong. I'm not like an anti-gun fanatic. I just actually believe that when people make characters, you should keep them the characters that they were made. I'm weird like that.
Fine.
But Wonder Woman it comes off better in this version, I think. But there's also some issues there as well, but not to do with her. It has more to do with the intros to her. We get really great side characters, which I thought was great. The secondary characters felt more real. You get to see the old Jimmy Olsen from the Donner films playing a cop that guards the place where Superman died, or the old Superman memorial, which I thought was a nice touch. Getting to see somebody from those old films in these ones. I like it when they do stuff like that to kind of pay tribute. There's the Superman stuff is really basically the same, except for the fight sequences. I think were choreographed better, especially when he comes into this, when it gets towards the end, the Steppenwolf stuff. That ended up feeling a lot better, a lot more realistic. We get to see Superman in the black suit.
You know what the difference is between you and me? I make this look good.
Which I love that. I loved that they put him in the black suit. Joe Morton, the guy that plays Cyborg's father, I love him as an actor. And I said this in my other review. I love him as an actor, and you get to see a lot more of him, a lot more interaction. You get to hear a lot more vocal work done by him. He just adds a real depth to that character of his father. We get to see I just lost his name. Hey moron. His name's William Dafoe. We get to see more of him in this than I remembered seeing him in the original. But in his performance, really comes off as just emotionally connected. His frustration with the fact that Aquaman won't get involved and is trying to pretend like he's just there and not there. That the Arthur's just basically throwing away his gift, his birthright to be king of Atlantis. And now this is before Aquaman, so the events of Aquaman actually happen after this. But I mean, there's just much more of a depth of story, and yes, unfortunately, we do get to see Amber Turd in this. But even her, I mean, in my brain, I just had to go, cut it in half. All right, psychotic bimbo on this side, person playing, the character on this side, and I can get through this. So there was that. But I mean, it just feels a lot better, and the stuff that was really great is the stuff with the Sod and the big baddie. I keep losing my mind. I keep losing the names of people that I should know.
Amanda's in it.
Darkseid. Why I forgot that, I don't know. But no, he was great. The only thing I didn't like about Darkseid is I I don't know why, but I think they should have got a different person to voice him. And no, I don't want I don't want the guy that did the voice of Thanos to do it. I just, in the cartoon versions, they had Michael Ironside do his voice and does it really well. You need with a character like that, you need a really powerful vocal presence. Darth Vader, James Earl Jones' voice, bringing life to Darth Vader. If it had been a different voice, if it had been like, Luke, I am your father, instead of Luke, I am your father, which he never actually says those words. Not in that order. But had it been a different person, it would have left that role. Darth Vader would not have been as menacing. You have to get the right role, the right person to play the vocal character. I mean, the guy that played Thanos, yes, perfect person to do that role. Very, very, very good. So I felt like, okay. The person who they got to play Desaad, excellent. We get to see Granny Goodness in this. We don't actually hear her or really see her close at all because I'm sure they never actually cast someone to play her. They probably just had like a background actress stand because you never even really get a good look at her face. I still have a problem with the look of the parademons. That was not great. Anyway, so let's get into the nitty gritty of this. Okay, like I said, there's a lot to like here, and it is so much better than what we got originally. But I want to talk about the stuff that really. So the first time around to watching this, if you've ever gone to a music concert, you'll understand what I mean. If you hear a mistake made in a live music concert, if you hear somebody hit a wrong note, if you I remember I went to a concert one time. We'd gotten my dad, and we went to see the Kingston Trio, which 98% of you won't even know who that is. They used to sing the song, "Hang down your head, Tom Dooley." Okay, you don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, they used to sing that song. And it was a very small concert arena. And so it was a very kind of an intimate concert, mainly because they were an old band. Not a lot of people go see them. But during the course of the singing, which was actually phenomenal for a band, I really didn't know who they were before we went to see them, but my dad did. They were great right up to the point where the lead guitarist broke 3 guitar strings almost in a row. He was playing and and he kept trying, he kept going, but he was missing notes at that point. And then while he's playing, going through this song, this is how professional this guy was. He's changing out a guitar string while he's still half playing, changing out a guitar string, and then kept right on playing. Like 2 minutes later, I don't know if it's the same one or a different one. I was like, where are you getting your guitar strings? Like Kmart? They're not even in business anymore. That's how bad that is. But that's what it felt like watching this movie the first time through. I liked it, but there was like constant little. It's like having a little kid in the room watching a movie with you, and every 5 minutes he just reaches over and goes and starts poking you, and then stops. It was like that for me. There was things like gnawing at me as I'm watching this, going. And it just kind of kept me from really, really loving this movie. And it was just, I'd noticed little things that were happening or things that were getting said and stuff. Now, the critical drinker really kind of hit it on the head when in his review he says that there's unnecessary dialogue. Like they could have cut some of the dialogue out. Like they're telling you things that you already know. I didn't have a problem with that because there's always somebody who's new to this that might need those explanations. I mean, comic book fans and people who've already seen the first one and all that kind of stuff probably don't need that. But there are other people who are coming into this for the first time that might need that explanation. So I really didn't have a problem with that. It was more like and I think he did say the dialogue was clunky. And that was true. Not the whole thing, but it was just like I said, I'd be going along and the dialogue was fine, and then all of a sudden it was just like, whoa. What? It was just like somebody hitting a wrong note. I'm like that, and it kept doing little things like that that would throw me out of the storyline and throw me out of the feel of the film. Now let me give you one of the perfect little tiny examples of this. Now this is please don't freak out over my criticisms here, okay? And don't like drill into one. You get all upset about that. Understand? I like this movie, so I'm going to watch it again with my kids. So that's how much I like this movie. But that doesn't mean it's a masterpiece without flaws. There are plenty of flaws. And I just think it's interesting to talk about the things that I found that were a frustration. So before you go freaking out over the stuff I'm going to bring up, keep that in mind. When the doctor, Cyborg's dad, I can't remember his character's name. Hey, this is getting a little embarrassing. The guy's name is Dr. Stone, Silas Stone. Yeah, there's pull it together, man. Anyway, he's the head of the Star Labs. And he's talking to the CIA guy that's looking for the basically the mother box that the humans had that has gone missing, that Joe Morton's character took to create Cyborg. He's talking to this guy, and he's like, I'm in charge of, we're part of a private contractor. Starlab is a private contractor that's contracted to the DOD to consult with them on exotechnology. And he's like, what? And he's like, alien technology. And then he walks over, and the shutters have opened up, and he's like the Superman ship. And there's a part of me in the back of my brain that was going, Superman ship? Okay. Maybe he was dumbing it down for the CIA guy who's looking for the mother box that they don't know it's a mother box. But any scientist would not call it the Superman ship. Any scientist would have called it the Kryptonian ship. Because everybody knows that Superman's a Kryptonian now. The Kryptonians showed up in a giant ship with a giant planet the constructor, recreator thing in Man of Steel, and announced the whole planet. Basically, this is what happened. This is Zod. I am from the planet Krypton, and I am looking for the son of Krypton. And we are going to turn this planet into a place that looks just like Krypton. Krypton. And in case you missed it, I'm from Krypton. So everybody knows he's Kryptonian and that they're from Krypton. And any scientist would not have went, the Superman ship. He called it what it was, because scientists are sticklers for details and calling things what is. It's why, like, a scientist will call it a penis and not like a Johnson. They're weird that way. They have specific terminology that they use, and that's what they do. So that, I was just like, anyway. So it was little things like that, like where the dialogue just seemed like that's not right. Like that. So that's a small thing, okay? That really is a very small thing. Some of the other things that were much larger things. The thing is with this movie is it closed a lot of the plot holes and things that Joss Whedon left open, and opened all new ones off to the side. They're bigger and worse in a lot of ways. Better and worse. So, for example, this isn't really a plot hole. It's just, how do I describe this? Okay, so we have the fight where the mother boxes are being put together, and we've got Darkseid trying to conquer the Earth the first time around. They go back and they tell the story about what happened. They separate the mother boxes. Each one of the various races takes a mother box to protect. Okay, so we've got the Greek gods, their side, which is basically the Amazon side. Then we've got the humans, and then we've got the Atlanteans, and they all get one of the boxes to go and protect. I had kind of a problem with the fact that the humans, which are probably the least technologically advanced, the least up to snuff on things, are the ones that protected the box the best. So let's just take the Amazons. The Amazons take this box that, had it come together, would have destroyed the world. Okay? This is like, hey, we have 3 nuclear bombs that if they hit at the same time will completely eliminate all life on Earth forever, except for the living skeletons that are going to walk around and kill anything that ever comes here again. Yeah. It would seem that you would take that threat freaking seriously, like really seriously. That you would not build a giant dome sticking up out of your island, this large room, and that you'd take it and you'd put it on a plinth in the middle of this large room where it's really visible to see, and then create a circular firing squad of warriors standing in there to protect it. That would seem like a bad idea. I'm just thinking out loud off the top of my... Because, when people use the term circular firing squad, that's not a good thing. That's a bad thing. It's really bad. But seriously, that's what it was in essence. You've got all these women in there facing each other with arrows, swords, and spears. So you get the parademons who show up and are flying around. Now, if I'm Zambuda, Sister Zambuda of the Amazons, and I'm taking a shot to fire and get one of the parademons in the air, if I miss, I've probably just shot Sister Xanafobana on the other side of the dome. Now, maybe I miss her. Maybe I shoot her in the arm. Maybe I get her through the eye. See, that's why you don't make a formation of projectile weapons in a perfect circle facing each other. That's a bad idea. That's a really bad idea. And it shows, because they show up and what looks like a handful of parademons come out, because it's not like the boom tube comes down and it's like it's spitting out like what looks like about 20 parademons, and then Steppenwolf drops in, and then the boom tube goes up, which I loved the boom tube sound. That was freaking perfect. That was awesome. Best. That was like, yeah, sound guy earned his money for that. But seriously, and like, so I'm like, really? You've got what, like 150, 200 Amazons in here with bows, arrows, spears, and swords, and you can't defeat 20 parademons. Now, maybe more came out than what it looks like, but if you watch that tube, it's like for a couple of seconds, and then that's it. It's not like this whole big swarm of parademons gets blown into the room. It's not that many. And yet, as they're fighting them, it seems like more keep showing up, yet the boom tube's gone. Like, they're not getting reinforcements anymore. And I'm like, seriously, even if every Amazon pulled their bow, drew at the same time, and fired, they should have killed them all at once, and half of the Amazons on the other side of the room. I guess that's a good trade. But seriously, if you go back in ancient history, nobody built protective structures like that. Nobody. They did not build an arena to protect something. You look at the pyramids; they're almost solid rock with tombs deep inside of them, with very small rooms and stuff. They were built to prevent people from getting in, not making a giant, large room that you can just walk in and ta-da! There's the prize. Indiana Jones, at the beginning of Raiders of the Lost Ark, where he goes in to get the idol isn't sitting in an arena because that's hard to defend. It's in a very small room, enclosed with booby traps on both sides. And it's just like, worst security system ever. And then we go to the Atlanteans, who were like, hey, we're advanced too. Let's do the exact same thing. Let's put it in a big dome and stick it on a plinth right in the top so that, there is no way you're going to miss this. Don't fake anybody out. Don't put a fake one on the top with a hidden compartment down the bottom where the real one's at. Nope. Stick it right up where you can see it because, museums never get robbed doing stuff like that. Okay, so that's a problem that was in both films that never got solved. And the mankind, which is arguably the least powerful in this, out of the three groups that were to protect the mother boxes, they did the best job. And you know what they did to protect it? They buried it. But that was smarter than what the Amazons did or the Atlanteans that were more advanced. In fact, the humans' box was the last one to get found. You're telling me that these two advanced cultures didn't outthink a bunch of grunts going, let's bury it. Okay. All right. But seriously, that is a huge, it looks cool, looks great when the dome collapses into the ocean and all that. It's very visually effective, like the Amazons when they were taking the logs out and dropping the doors down and stuff. It was cool. It was cool, and it was like, man, those Amazons are, bad mothers. Not actually mothers, but you know what I mean. It was like, it was cool, but it was like completely and totally ineffective, completely and totally the worst possible way they could have done to protect that. When I really want to protect something, I stick it in the center of a room and shine lights on it and make sure that everybody knows right where it's at. Because that's the best way to hide something. You don't put it in a vault. You don't send it with a giant squid and bury it at the bottom of the Marianas Trench 5 miles down under the water. No, that would be crazy. Who would do something like that when you can just stick it on a plinth in the middle of a big room where everybody can see it? Even if Steppenwolf had to search Atlantis, we're going to look for a big room, big building with just one thing in it. We're going to find that pretty quick. Okay, Parademons, I want you to go look for every building that looks like a museum. Nope. Hey, Master, I found it. So I didn't get that. And I really didn't get the circular firing squad thing. That just doesn't seem like a good idea no matter how you slice it. The other thing I didn't get was the Amazon that when the box starts to vibrate and it's going crazy and she's walking up to it and it starts drawn and she's trembling like a leaf. She looks like she's about to pee her pants. She's so scared. And then 10 minutes later, when Steppenwolf and stuff shows up and he's like, I will feed on your fear. And the queen is like, Amazon, show him your fear. We have no fear. I'm like, except for the one girl that looked like she was about to piss her pants. Okay? Look, I know that fear isn't the absence of bravery. It's being brave in the face of fear. But I could see her being tense. I could see her being like anxious and stuff like that. But like she looked like she was having a seizure. I'm like, what is the deal with that? I'm terrified, yet we feel no fear. I'm just like, that's a small detail. Like, how did nobody watching that go, hey, can you tell Sarah that she needs to stop shaking so bad? She just needs to look tense. You know, look like she's really intense, really ready to just stab that thing. You know, not like somebody hit her with a tuning fork. I mean, seriously, it was like watching a Tom and Jerry cartoon. You know, where he walks up and he's, yeah, that's what it was like watching her do that. I'm like, that makes no sense. And then when the big dome comes crashing down, you know, and stuff, very cool, very cool. And then 2 seconds later, Steppenwolf comes popping out of there like a jack-in-the-box, and so do, like, I don't know, like 10 parademons come shooting out of there. Okay, Steppenwolf, yes, getting out of there, yes. He's going to make it out because he's the big bad. He's got the armor, and he's a tough, bad mother. Yes, he's going to make it out. The parademons, no. They just had, what, 70 tons, 700,000 tons of rock and dirt fall on top of them. I'm sorry, but cockroaches aren't even walking away from that. The parademons, they're not getting out of that. And me personally, I can't see Steppenwolf popping out of there like a jack-in-the-box either. Now, I could have saw him like crawling out up on top and going and jumping. Yeah, I could have saw that. Okay. To me, that's a small thing. It was like poor execution. I'm like, no, I'm sorry. None of the parademons got out of that. No. Steppenwolf, yes. Parademons, no. So like I said, it's a small thing, but I'm just like, you need to make them a lot bigger, badder, and stronger looking if they're going to survive something like that. Because even if they did survive, they're going to be crawling out of that pit looking like a moth that just had its wings ripped off. Seriously, if the Amazons can kill them with arrows and swords, they're not walking away from 700 tons of rock and earth falling on top of them. That's not happening. So that was just a silly little thing. The chase scene with Steppenwolf and stuff was really good. I liked that. The only problem I had with that was I kept thinking in my head, you guys are military women, right? Did nobody ever tell you that when somebody's chasing you, you zigzag? If somebody's shooting stuff at you, and you make yourself a harder target to hit. You don't run in a straight line. That's a bad idea. Just saying. Small thing, but I'm like, this is Hippolyta, the queen of the Amazons, and she doesn't understand how to zigzag. Okay. So there was a lot of like, just like I said, it was like constantly having somebody tweaking me throughout the film. And I'm like, and the first time around, I just didn't notice it as much. Second time around, like, you were going to pick up on these things. If you don't have just rose-colored I love Zack Snyder goggles on, you know, something like these. This film's great. I love it. There's nothing wrong with this whatsoever. It's awesome. Unless you're wearing these diamond-studded girl sunglasses. They're not mine, by the way. You're going to see the flaws, and they're going to get bigger the longer this goes on. Because those aren't even the big ones. Those aren't even the major problems. Those are just like things that, had anybody taken 5 seconds and went, hey, Bob, there's this part in the script where it says they call the Superman ship the the Superman ship. Isn't that a Kryptonian ship? I mean, Superman didn't even come in that ship. He came to Earth in something else. So that's not really his ship. That's the ship that was in the Arctic. I guess it's his ship now. Except it's not, because he's dead. You know, I'm just saying. So like I said, there's just these things that kept popping up throughout the movie. And the thing with Cyborg's storyline. Much more detailed, much more intricate. You get a lot more backstory as to what happened to him, who he was before, which is great. And worse. Let me tell you what I mean. So this backstory is great. Except they make him look like a grade A class 1 asshole. Pardon my French. Brian, what do you mean? No, they don't. He's a hero. All right, let me give you an example. There's a sequence where we see Cyborg sitting out. This is before he became, so he's Vic at this point, and Victor, and he's sitting outside of a dean's office, the president of the college's office. He's sitting out in front of a college office, and he's sitting there like this. Like this shit-eating.
Sarah's family lost their houses here.
I'm so smart. This shit-eating smirk on his face. And then it goes inside the room where his mom's at and talking to this dean. And apparently he has broken into a school computer. He has hacked the school computer system and changed the grades of another student to give them passing grades. Now, I don't know if they were A's, B's, or whatever. All right. And his mom is just like, that family lost their home. He was doing something right. He has a good heart. He was helping that girl. What have you done?
What a bunch of hippy-dippy baloney.
And then the dean is like, oh, you're right. Okay, now let me tell you how that should work in the real world. Okay, this is me rewriting that scene. Mother says everything that she says in the film. If I'm the dean sitting there looking at her, I go, you're right. You know, this university currently has 15,000 students enrolled here, plus faculty, staff. 25,000 people are here on a daily basis. You're right. I should know the details, the intimate details, every detail that goes on in those people's lives, right? I mean, that's not unreasonable. I should know all that. If some of the students having a problem and their family lost their home, I mean, of course, that's a perfect reason why you should fail your classes, and that you should just get free grades handed to you. Of course. How silly am I? How stupid that I should expect that she earned those grades. I mean, she lost her house. She should just get, we should just graduate her. We should just give her a diploma right now. I mean, it's not like your son committed a felony and committed academic suicide by cheating for another student. Not just cheating, but he didn't just cheat on a test. He cheated for whole classes for this girl. He gave her grades she didn't deserve. Of course. How silly are we? My goodness, Madam Doctor, because she makes a real big stink about being called Doctor. Mrs. So-and-so, Doctor. I'm the doctor. And he's like, okay. Right there and then, if I'm at this scene and I'm talking to a mother, I'm like, okay, this is going to be awful. But seriously, so in Zack Snyder's world, or whoever wrote that scene, I don't know if that was Zack Snyder or not. Here's the problem. That is moral equivalency. It sounds really good if you go through that conversation real fast and then jump to something else. You almost wouldn't notice that she is like one of those parents that goes in and bitches out the teacher for her kids failing classes. Well, you know the parents. You know them. The ones that sue their school because they disciplined their kid because he was trying to stab another student in the head with a pickaxe. How dare you touch my child? My child is an angel. He was only trying to stick that pickaxe in her head because she said she wouldn't sleep with him. Well, that's her fault. She should have just slept with him for having, how ridiculous.
I super hate you.
And therein lies the problem. So tell me something. You cheating for another student, breaking in to a computer system, those are the actions of a hero? Those are the actions of a future hero. Really? That's the moral lesson we're teaching in the cyborg story. If I was that dean, I'd have said, Madam, for one, I'm a doctor too, so if we're going to do the titles game, I have a PhD in education and whatever else he might have in so you will refer to me as doctor too, or professor. But before we go too far down that road, I'm just going to say you and your son will either write a formal apology to be printed in the school newspaper stating that what he did was wrong, that he is absolutely sorry, that he will show absolute contrition for what he did, or one, the police will be called and he will be arrested for fraud, theft, breaking and entering, whatever crimes we can get him on, he will be brought up on charges for. Then he will be expelled from this college, and it will be shown on his record it was for cheating and committing crimes while on campus. See, that's the real world. That's the real world we should be living in, where people who do bad things don't get away with it because they moralize some bullshit reason. Because that's not something a hero would have done. A hero doesn't do something like that. A hero doesn't cheat for any reason. He should have convinced her to go talk to the dean. He should have convinced her to talk to her teachers. And if the teachers wouldn't help, the dean wouldn't help, and nobody would help, then that's where you get to that point. But you don't just go do whatever you want and then sit in there smirking because your mommy's going to come to the college and fix it all because she's a black woman. I don't care what color you are. I don't care who you are. You don't get to do that. I don't get to cheat in college. She shouldn't get to cheat in college. And he sure as hell shouldn't be able to break into a computer system and change people's grades and get away with it. Just saying. Horrible moral lesson. Just foul. And later on, after he becomes cyborg, he starts becoming the world's worst voyeur, watching everybody. And there's a single mother who's struggling. He's got $11 in the bank. He shows up and puts $100,000 in her bank account. Now, I feel for that woman. I absolutely do. And I'm not saying that helping her was wrong. I'm saying, where did that money come from? Okay? Because he took it from somewhere. Okay, money doesn't just appear in the system. It's kept track of. Like I said, that's a hard judgment call. But a hero doesn't steal money to give to somebody else. Okay, that's no. Mm-mm. No, if he wanted to do that, then, he should have found a better way to do it. I'm just saying, once you start redistributing the wealth, somebody has to pay for that. That money came from somewhere. It didn't just appear. You can't just make money unless you're the United States government and you have a printing press and you can just make $1 trillion appear out of nowhere. But hey, he's not the government. You can't do that. So like I said, there's dubious moral lessons here that, like, on the surface you would think, oh, and on the bottom and underneath you're like, oh, what? So I'm like, did you guys make him do this stuff because he's the black character? And what are you saying? Black people should get away with committing frauds and felonies and stealing money from accounts to put in other people's account? I'm like, I think that's kind of racist. You just like basically said the one black superhero in this movie is a thief, a liar, and a cheat. And he's totally fine with it. And given the speech that his dad gives him, Vic, you have all this power, you have control, you are the ultimate in technologies and ones and zeros, you're the master. It's a great speech. It's a fantastic speech. And I'm sitting there thinking, you just gave this power to a kid who thinks it's fine to cheat for people because of reasons. So let me put this in a different way and why this bothers me. And you could be like, oh, it doesn't matter. It's just a couple of grades. Okay, let me ask you this. Say the girl he did this for was a pre-med student. And the classes that she failed were Nat and Phys, chemistry, microbiology. Those are all 3 classes that you will use every single day as a doctor. Those are 3 subjects that you need to be intimately familiar with if you're going to be a good doctor, a good physician. And if you cheated her way through that so that now she doesn't have that knowledge, she just got the grade for it. Let me ask you this question. Do you want her to be the surgeon that operates on you? Do you want her to be the student or the doctor that operates on your kids? Do you want her being the doctor that dispenses your medication? She doesn't understand chemistry. She failed it because she lost her house. So she should totally get a free ride through chemistry. Now, they don't tell you what the girl did. But, I mean, pick any. Maybe if she was a French literature major, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. Other than wrong is still wrong. Cheating is still cheating. Breaking into a computer system is still a felony. You know. Hey, but he's smart and black, and so it's okay. No, it isn't. Not even if your mom's a doctor. So that's what I mean. Seriously, the moral, the amoral moralizing that goes on in some of this film is just like, what? Especially for heroes. Oh, and then my favorite part is when Diana's talking to Cyborg, and she says, "You need to come and help the world." And now I'm going to quote. So this is a direct quote from the film. So I apologize if you don't like swearing. Cover your ears for the next seconds till you see my lips stop moving. He says, "Fuck the world." A hero who isn't Deadpool says F the world to Diana when she makes an impassioned plea for him to help and save things because the world needs him. What a great hero. I mean, yeah. Because, I mean, what hero that every millions of people idolize don't just go F the world? F the world. Now, I could have seen it had they rewritten that line to be like, what has the world ever done for me? I don't know the world a thing. Okay. All right. That you know, you're struggling, you're having a problem and stuff, but just F the world? No, that's pretty much a I don't give a crap and I never will kind of a statement. Now, she goes on to talk to him and kind of breaks through the shell, but no hero is going to say that. No real hero is going to say that. Superman's not going to say it. Spider-Man's not going to say it. Iron Man's not going to say it. Captain Rogers isn't going to say it. Batman's not going to say it. Nobody that's a real hero says that line. Now, an anti-hero might say that line, but not a hero. Not Cyborg. He's not going to say that. And so, I mean, they both gave him a backstory and demeaned him at the same time. Made him a lesser hero because I mean, he's acting like a spoiled child. It's like, yeah, I know it sucked. You got turned into a machine against your will. But here's a crazy thought. You're still alive. Your dad loved you enough to give you a second chance at life. And okay, yeah, I don't exactly have my junk anymore, but maybe maybe I can make a alternative. Who knows how long I'll live like this? Look at all this cool stuff I can do. I'm basically a full developed Iron Man suit. So if something breaks off, I just put a new one on. I'm sorry if that was somebody said, Brian, we can make you a machine body that'll last forever, and we can do it tomorrow. I'd be like, can we do it now? Can we do it now? I'd rather do it now. I know, maybe I'm the 1%, me and Sheldon Cooper. I don't know. Maybe we're the only two people who ever thought, being a machine might be kind of cool. Not hurting every time I try and walk upstairs, because I'm 47 years old and things are starting to fall apart. That would be, maybe to a teenager, this looks like a terrible thing. I get that. All right, I understand. Maybe it's not for everybody. RoboCop made it work. But they demeaned him. They diminished him by doing what they did, by giving him some of the reactions that he did. I mean, he eventually comes around and starts becoming a hero. And at the end, I really like his character, just like I did before. Like I said, it's just like he's got some dubious moral values. Because, everybody's trying to moralize things that are absolutely not moral. Oh, it's okay if you just make up reasons. Oh, okay. Yeah, there you go. I mean, I should be able to kill people if it's a Tuesday and I'm on my period. Okay, I don't have periods, but you know what I mean? You just, like, really? You just make up reasons to do wrong things and, that makes it all okay? Okay, I understand circumstances, but no. So they really kind of hurt his character. The part with Superman, they're still making Superman too dark. I love Henry Cavill as Superman. Absolutely love him as Superman. He will go down in history in my mind as the most unused, underrated, and underdeveloped Superman in history. He will go down as the biggest wasted opportunity as Superman because of how he got used in this whole process. He's the perfect character, the perfect likeness, everything. Since Christopher Reeves, like, he has been the best. Now the guy that they got for Superman Returns looked fantastic. He really did. He looked almost like Christopher Reeves, especially when he is in Clark Kent's character. And that's probably like the one thing they fell down on with Man of Steel and Batman versus Superman and stuff, is like Clark Kent looks too much like Superman. Like, they don't, like, where are the horn rim glasses? Where is the clumsy, klutzy stuff? Because that's who Clark Kent is. Clark Kent is not a slick, refined, blah, blah. He uses that persona of a bumbling, fumbling Clark Kent to hide the fact that he is none of that. And Christopher Reeves plays that perfectly. And, like, I just feel like they told Henry Cavill, okay, we just want you to put on your day off clothes and walk around and it'll be Clark Kent. I'm like, this is Henry Cavill. He has got way better acting chops than that. Give him the Superman role, And I felt like Zack Snyder could have run the universe, but they needed to get like somebody like Ron Howard to come in and direct the Superman film. They needed to get somebody who came in who understands how to make a light-hearted, happy, uplifting, well-lit, not dark movie. Like the Donner films. That's Superman. Superman is not dark. He is not angsty. He is not Batman. They should have had Zack Snyder do the Batman films. They should have had Zack Snyder make a Batman film. Because they didn't. They just threw him into Batman versus Superman. They didn't build up the DCEU the way they should have. They tried to take shortcuts, and that's how we got where we are. But this, so the next huge plot hole, and this is something the Critical Drinker noticed as well, so I'm not stealing from him. I promise. I'm not. I noticed it too, gosh dang it, but he got there first, so yeah. I'm kind of mad about that, to be quite honest with you, because I was just like, oh. I was like, yeah, you're right. Shit, you said that, damn it. Now it's going to look like, anyway. So I'm going to say it anyway, because I noticed the same thing. I don't know which one of us first. He recorded his video first, so there. So the mother boxes. During the battle, during ancient times, when the mother boxes were separated, and Darkseid is basically vanquished. Now, I've heard people go like, that was too much like how they defeated Thanos, and it was the same place, it was like the same exact stuff. I'm like, you need to watch Endgame again. Like, it's not exactly the same thing. It is quite different. It's similar, but it's different. Thor throws Stormbreaker at Thanos and hits him dead center of the chest. Does not hit him in the shoulder, hits him dead center of the chest, and then he pushes it in to try and kill him, and Thanos is like, you should have hit that. When Darkseid takes the axe, he gets, like, I think it's Ares, runs up and slams that axe into him. Like, contact, he's right there, boom, hits him with the axe, about splits him in half, like he's kindling. And, I mean, it is way more up and close and personal combat and stuff. And then he's not saved by being sucked through a tube out of harm's reach and stuff. He is like, a wave comes in and attacks, and a couple of parademons pull him away, get him into a ship, and they fly off and stuff, which, okay. Now, this is Darkseid, like the most evil being in the universe, in the DC, one of the most evil beings in the DC universe. Conquered 100,000 worlds, or whatever. He's got this armada. He's attacking Earth. Now, if you lose a battle, so you leave the worst, most destructive weapons sitting there with the enemy? Okay, that's like, I was going to say, that's like Joe Biden getting in, going into combat and then dropping the nuclear codes, but you can't see Joe Biden being on the front line. I can't see any president being on the front lines, honestly. But anyway, it's like that. It's like our president, he's out there fighting the bad guys and drops the nuclear codes. He gets hurt and they take him away, and they leave our nuclear codes with the barbarians that defeated us. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that. No, I don't think that's how that works. You don't walk away from the most destructive weapons in your arsenal. 3 indestructible. Okay, that's used. The words indestructible living machines that destroy entire worlds. You don't walk away from those and just go, we'll pick them up later. And then, okay, so you lost this battle. You're flying up back into space. And at no point do you go, somebody else is in charge. Now, Darkseid, maybe he's out of it for a while. You're telling me there's nobody else in that armada who goes, okay, we're going to withdraw to a safe distance till we've got Darkseid healed back up. We've built up our forces again. And then we're going right back in there, and we're going to keep attacking this world till we get them. Nope. We got defeated. Let's leave. And what? They ran off to the farthest distant corner of space. And when we get back to I just lost the name of the planet where Darkseid lives. Apocalypse. They get back to Apocalypse, and Darkseid's like, hey, Bob, what were the coordinates for that planet? Yeah, funny thing, dark side. I had them on my iPad, and when I was running to get away on the ship, I kind of dropped them in the grass, and all of our navigation logs. Yeah, they were on the ship that they shot with the arrow that exploded. That was the only ship that had navigation things that we follow. We don't know where that world is now. We forgot. Sorry. You're going to kill me now, aren't you? Seriously. You got defeated. You lost a little battle in one spot on an entire world, and you thought, yeah, hell, we're out of here. And burn the maps. Burn all the maps. We don't ever want to know where this place is again. I mean, it's not like we just found the anti-life equation. Oh, wait. We did. Huge plot hole. Huge plot hole. Okay, now I can see if they'd have explained that somehow. Like when the Armada was leaving, they were almost hit by a comet. A cosmic cloud farted and it scrambled their system. I don't know. You could have made up some thing, but to just go like, yeah, we forgot. Bob was supposed to keep that information. Bob, he's kind of an idiot. That's not how that works. That's not how that works. You don't just lose a whole planet because, especially when you didn't get like warped away or thrown away or Q didn't snap you into another, whatever. No, you traveled from point A, which is Earth, back to Apocalypse, and at no point did you make a map. You forgot the coordinates where you left the most powerful weapon in your arsenal. 2, by the way. So Darkseid is either the most incompetent villain of all time with nobody else watching his back, or there's something wrong with your story. And then at the end, I'm kind of jumping around here. I'm not going in chronological order because I'm already at 1 hour and 8 minutes for this review, and it would take 4.5 hours to review this film. So that's a huge plot hole. It's just like, it is really hard to reconcile that one. So yeah, you need to fix that. You need to explain that in some future version of how in the hell they lost the coordinates for the Earth. Especially when it had the ultimate power in the universe, the anti-life equation that gives you control over all life in the universe. You'd think that they really kind of, I mean, shit, pirates make treasure maps. You found something way more valuable than a Spanish doubloon. Yeah, that didn't make any sense whatsoever. Anyway, so at the end, when Superman and the Unity's coming together and they get the boxes separated, and boom, and it falls and zoom, and we destroyed the mother boxes. They utter that phrase. Somebody utters that phrase. I may have to go back and watch that part again and see if I got that wrong. But somebody says, yes, and the mother boxes were destroyed.
Now that the mother boxes have been destroyed.
Oh, you mean the indestructible living machine boxes? They were destroyed? Let me just say that again. The indestructible living machines got destroyed. Zach, I'm looking at your script here, and I think there's a problem. Because you said they were indestructible up here, and see at the end you go, oh, they blew up. So that's a bit of a problem, I think, they may have needed to solve. Also, I'm sorry. I know it sounds like I'm just tearing this film a new one. Understand that, like, the problems and the things that I'm describing are like this much of a movie, or maybe that much of a, or maybe like it's a long movie. It's like Shogun long. You guys probably won't even know what Shogun is. Anyway, but like seriously, it's like this much of a much bigger thing. So the next problem is, so when because see, they fail in the Unity blows up the Earth, which I thought the idea behind the Unity was it was like, and it changes the Earth into like a hellscape where all the life changes. But like if you look at that, like no, it blows the Earth into powder. Like, or at least the top half of the Earth is like gone, where the mother boxes went off, gone. And I don't know if it just like destroyed the top half of Earth and left the rest of it okay, or like, you know, it would have killed everything else. But see, Flash goes in, reverses time, because I mean, we had to have time travel. We just had to. Marvel had time travel. We want time travel. We could not have fixed this any other way. Of course, it could have been worse, where it's like clock ticking down 1 second. Boop, we stopped the Unity. So I mean, tropes all around. But so you got the Flash, which we've seen. Okay, the Flash, much better in this version. Still extremely obnoxious. You see, because Flash runs fast, they think we need to get a motor mouth like Shia LaBeouf to play Flash, so that he talks like this and you don't really understand what he's saying, and he's kind of hyperkinetic and he doesn't really. You don't need somebody like that to play the Flash. Just because the Flash runs fast doesn't mean he's a moth. He's a human moth. Can't hold still. Got to be moving all the time, and got to talk real fast. That isn't. How can this have been done so well by so many other people? And they because I'm sorry, one of my biggest problems in this film and in the Zack Snyder universe is the Flash. The electric bolts coming off of him, and okay, because in this they use the Flash to create an electrical charge large enough to blow the mother boxes apart, which is basically the equivalent of a lightning bolt, which is what Zeus used to separate the mother boxes in the original battle. So they use Flash to create an electrical charge to do that. Here's my question. See, I always thought that the lightning and the stuff that was going on around the Flash was something only the Flash could see, that it was just like, that's like what it looks like to him when things are distorting. When he's moving that quickly, the lightning is basically a distortion field that he is seeing and stuff that nobody else is seeing, the lightning bolts and stuff, that's a very much a thing that's him. Nope. No, that's the... Okay, I know that a lot of people have done super speed heroes. My problem with so many creators and Zack Snyder with this particular trilogy in particular is that you don't have to do it different just because somebody else did it. Do it a little better than somebody else did it, okay? I know somebody else has done the Flash, and you don't want to do it exactly like the Flash. You don't want to make him look exactly like. You don't want to make him look like Quicksilver in the X-Men. You don't want to make him look like the Flash TV shows. You don't want to. Okay, I get it. You're looking for something different. Okay, but you can't do a special effect that alters what the Flash is fundamentally. Okay, because what you're basically saying is that the Flash gives off enough static electricity that he's creating lightning bolts around him. My question is, if that's the case, he would electrocute anybody he got near. If this Flash was building up static electrical charges or kinetic energy charge, he would electrocute everyone he ever got near. Anybody he tried to save would be electrocuted. Okay? He's never going to build up that kind of a charge. Why, Brian, you ask? Because he's grounded. He is touching the ground. All energy that he would build up would be immediately grounded. There would be no lightning bolts. There would be no static charge buildup. The only way that could happen was if he had insulated his feet so that they couldn't touch the ground, and there was some kind of a capacitor system that he had on him that could build a charge. Now, maybe I'm overthinking it. It's just a movie. You're being too stupid. Okay, but you're building a movie and a character based around real principles. Okay? They're using the idea of static electric charge and I hated that. I hated it in the first Justice League. I hate it in this one. I hate how they have made the Flash look when he's running. The Quicksilver did it better in the X, is probably the best way I've seen that done. Everything slows down. He's running around, touching and they made him really funny. He's one of the best superheroes in the X-Men, in my opinion. Just because somebody else did it doesn't mean you can't do it. Just do it a little bit better than they did it. Come up with a slightly better version. But creating lightning bolts around a character that's going to kill everybody he's trying to save might not be the way to do it. I'm just saying. Because they use this to separate the mother boxes. So he's running around in a circle. And there's one parademon on a cannon that's like, pew, 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 trying to shoot him, okay? I know I probably took that too far. I went too long with it. This is only an hour and 17 minutes at this point. But seriously, just shooting random shots at the blue lightning bolt boy running around in a circle trying to build up an electric charge that would never build up because he's grounded to the ground. And anyway, he's shooting at this. Now, we've seen the Flash as he's been running and doing all of this stuff. Everything slows down for him when he's running. When he hits certain speeds, everything slows down. He would be watching those bolts come at him like, pew! 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, and then it would hit. He'd see them minutes before they actually got to him. You're telling me he's dodged all this stuff. He's missed all these things. And also they made him a klutz. He trips and slams into some stairs and he falls over things. He's like, for a guy who moves super fast, can see everything in slow motion, you suck. You are the clumsiest Flash ever. So they really still have got the Flash character completely screwed up. They use him to turn back time. If I could turn back time. Yeah, they use him to turn back time. Thanks, Cher, for giving him that idea. Which leads to the indestructible boxes being destroyed. And then instead of Darkseid the anti-life equation's there, he knows it now. And instead of just going hey, it's right there. Doot, 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 doot. And walking out of the boom tube, no, it's like, boom, gone. And he turns around and goes, I guess we'll have to go the old-fashioned way. I have a better idea. You have the Omega beams that come out of your eyeballs now. You didn't apparently the first time you were there, but now you've got them because your eyes are glowing. Why don't you open the boom tube back up, kill the 6 people that are standing there keeping you from getting what you want, and just take it? Because you can't escape the Omega beams. I don't think even Superman can withstand the Omega beams. If my understanding of comics is, and I might be wrong on that, but even Superman can't survive the Omega beams. Flash can't outrun the Omega beams, although he does in one of the cartoons. He basically outsmarts the Omega beams. Or here's another crazy idea: open another boom tube, and all the soldiers that are standing in that huge thing behind you say, "All right, everybody, get him!" No, he turns around and goes, now I don't know, maybe the boom tubes are limited, like on how many people can go through. Maybe they're limited on how long they can stay open. I don't understand all the ins and outs of the boom tubes. I'm not a boom tube expert. I know more about Stargate stuff than I do about boom tubes. So he turns around and he's like, "We'll have to fly there." And he walks over and then you don't see him anymore. And I'm just like, why? Okay, so you got all the heroes right there where the anti-life. So why don't you open a boom tube like 6 miles up the road and just deploy, I don't know, like 100,000 parademons, and then walk out, and then you just walk back to where, so by the time you get there, like you can overwhelm the hero. Like you were like the worst military commander ever. I'm like, okay, so either Darkseid isn't as big and bad as he's supposed to be, because he should be able to defeat Superman, especially with, I don't know, 100 million, 100,000 parademons at your command. I don't think even Superman could overcome those numbers. There's no Green Lanterns on Earth. Nobody else is backing him up. There's just the 6 heroes. There's not the 3 armies of Amazons, Atlanteans, and humans waiting there to help take on, like, you get 6 people. You whack 6 people, you get the anti-life equation, and you can get back your broken, indestructible mother boxes. So there is some major story problems that are still connected to this, okay? And you can be like, you're overthinking it. It's just a movie. Right, it's just a movie. And yet people are going to flip out if they see this and they're part of the Zack Snyder zealot fan group who thinks that, because don't get me wrong, this is a win. This is a win for every single person who wanted the Zack Snyder cut released, who knew it was out there, who believed in it, and who for 5 years now have been desperately keeping this movement alive and got Zack Snyder his vision so that he could go on a stream with geeks and gamers and crap on them for trying to help his charity. I mean, come on! This was worth it. It was. I'm just joking. It was, and it is a good movie. It is so much better than what we got. But I don't pretend for a minute that this is the best superhero film of all time. Okay? If you rate them, okay, right now, my opinion, best superhero film of all time is Avengers Endgame. It is like, boom, it is clear up here at the top. Now, if you take Justice League, it's like here. It's good, but I don't think it beats out the original Iron Man. I don't think it beats out Thor. I don't think it beats out... I mean, Marvel, I'm sorry, but Marvel still got you guys whacked. I mean, Marvel still got you guys' number because you're not thinking these stories all the way through. You are not going through and having people upon people upon people check to make sure that your story is airtight. Okay? Now, Endgame dropped the ball. You got Avengers, Infinity War, and then you've got, and I may have said that wrong. I may have said Endgame's up here. It's not. It's Infinity War that's up here. Okay? So I apologize for that. But Infinity War is the epitome of superhero films. I'm sorry, that was epically good. Nothing else even comes close to Endgame. Or, gosh dang it, there I did again. Infinity War. And Endgame dropped the ball. Endgame was like, Infinity War was going in for the TD and about to spike the ball, and Endgame come running around. Their own player from their own team ran around and tripped him at the 1 yard line and wrecked their chances of a touchdown. That's what Endgame did. It's like you were this close to winning the game, and some butt munch on your team ruined the end. Good job. Now, Endgame isn't horrible, but it's not. It wasn't. It was not the sequel that we should have got. It was too convoluted. The time travel was too asinine. So wait, Gamora gets killed for the Infinity Stones, and she can't come back. But then she does come back, and then by the way, Black Widow's dead, and she can't come back. They make a real big deal that Black Widow's dead because Scarlett Johansson doesn't want to do it anymore, and so she's dead, and she's gone, dead, gone, and never, ever, never coming back, unless we go back in time and get her and bring her forward like we did with Gamora. I know this is a DC Talk About stream, but it's seriously, it's the same thing. It's what happens when you don't sit down and make sure that your story is cohesive, that you have thought through this process 10 steps ahead, that you don't have the loose ends tied up, that if you're going through your story and you're suddenly like, why did they do that? Why did we want him to do that again? Why did they forget where Earth was? Why is Cyborg such an asshat in this? Why are the Amazons pointing arrows at each other again? Please, somebody explain it. Do we have a military person who could come in here and possibly advise us on military tactics for not killing your own people? It's like they took the worst military commander in the world and said, "Hey, when you're protecting something, what is the one military formation that is absolutely assured to kill more of your people than the enemy? We want that. Can you get that? We want the Amazons to look like they're nut jobs. We want them to stand in a circle and shoot each other, and then we want them to collapse a gigantic dome that has no hope of protecting anything." Yeah. That's just some of the problems. There are more problems in this, but seriously, those are some major issues that they didn't deal with and that they should have. They have dubious morals playing out through this. They have, I love Alfred. I love Jeremy Irons. I love him. I know. Squirrel, random thought. But like I said, the secondary characters really helped sell this for me. They did so much more with them, gave them so much more to help bring the story together. Wonder Woman is... I almost forgot one of the worst possible things about this. So this is the last thing I'm going to nitpick on. The music. Now, I've heard this from almost everybody who has seen this film. The music is horrendous. The soundtrack, horrendous. I mean, almost unlistenable, if that's a word. I don't know if that's a word. But worse than that is the Amazon music. Every time you see the Amazons appear or Wonder Woman appear, you get this. You get some Celtic singer wannabe yodeler doing some weird thing with her voice by the time the movie was over, it was like listening to a banshee screeching. Now, there were times when the Amazons came in and they used like heavy drum beats. Like, yes, that's what you should have done. That's what you should have done. Changed up the tempo, altered the drum beats a little bit, make it a little different for each intro, but use the drums, use the thing, and get rid of the... Because it was awful. It was so bad. And then the music was like the actual singing songs and stuff like that. Was like they went out and they found, like, they went outside the studio and found 6 bums, a couple of girls and a couple of guys, and said, if you'll come in and sing for our album, we'll buy you dinner. And so the bums came in and they were like, hello, and I went out to the boat, and I'm actually doing a better job of singing than that. It was bad. It was bad. It was like grunge meets folk music meets Alanis Morissette meets Lucifer. It was awful. It was so bad. Almost no redeeming music in this whatsoever. It was atrocious. And like they used the Wonder Woman theme several times. That was great. That was good. Like, you know, and stuff. You could overuse that too. But the drum beat thing, they could have used that. There's another. Okay, I lied. I'm gonna keep going because I keep thinking of things that bothered me in this film. So when Hippolyta's about to take the arrow, the metal arrow, to light the signal fire to warn the world that evil has come for the mother boxes, because they had the worst security system in the world. She gets this large metal arrow, okay? Puts it on a little bow and goes, ping. Okay, now, Zack Snyder seems to suffer from Game of Thrones map trouble. I think in in Zack Snyder's head, the world is like, maybe, but it's about that big around. About that big around. 10 inches, 12 inches, something like that. Because it's like, he thinks that Gotham and Metropolis, like, Metropolis is New York and Gotham is New Jersey. Now, I'm not a comic book expert, so you guys are going to have to correct me on this. That's not right. Isn't Gotham and, like, Metropolis more like the distance of, like, Chicago and New York? Or, I mean, at least Boston and New York? I mean, I actually don't know which cities are based off which ones. I always thought Gotham was New York. But I've also thought that Metropolis was New York, so I don't actually know which city is which place. They can't both be the same city, and I get confused as to which one's what and who and where. I wish somebody would make a comic book map of the DC universe and go, okay, Star City's here and Center City's here and Metropolis is here and Gotham's down there and this city, so that I know where the hell the imaginary cities standing in for real cities actually are. Please, can somebody do that? Maybe it's already out there. I'll have to look. But I mean, so we've got, you know, they're on Themyscira, which I'm assuming is one of the Greek Isles, I guess, because I mean it's so far out to sea you can't see land from it. You know, it's hidden from the world. Nobody can see it. And she takes this little arrow, and it's like the slowest moving arrow on Earth. and it has like no arc. Peek. The Amazons are supposed to be these legendary, super strong, amazing warriors. Now Diana's the strongest. I get that. She's got the bracelets. She's got all this the weapons of the gods on the bracelets, the crown, the lasso. Okay, yeah, she's got the goods. But they still did not use the Amazons to full effect. Like, the Amazons are supposed to be tougher than they appear to be in this show. I kept waiting for the Amazons to whoop more butt. I mean, and don't get me wrong, the Amazons do, but I'm just like, now, what they should have done, and I know, backseat quarterbacking, or, bench, whatever. I'm telling him what to do from the sidelines. I'm sorry. But Hippolyta should have held up this huge longbow, like really powerful longbow. You're shooting a huge metal arrow. It would snap a regular bow in half, or it would be like ping, thunk, and it would like make it about 1.5 feet because it just would. Okay, I know this is a comic book movie, but the gravity and everything else is still a real thing. It just doesn't apply to Superman. You know what I mean? So, no. Like, you could not shoot that kind of arrow with a little, like, you could not take a regular bow and shoot that arrow. Or you could, and it'd go about 2.5 feet. Thing, or it'd snap the string when the string tried to pull it. I mean, trust me, that's not how it works. You can ask any person in archery. They couldn't shoot an arrow like that. She should have pulled up like a huge longbow. Like the Queen's. I mean, they should have made a deal about this is the Queen's longbow. That's as like from here to here, it's almost as tall as she is. She's the queen of the Amazon. She's supposed to be strong. She should have grabbed that arrow, and then we should have seen her muscles strain as she pulled up. And there should have been like a wave, like a shock wave come, boom, that just, shot that thing into the sky. And it should have been hauling, not like, seriously, you took one of the coolest moments in that film, the Queen shooting the signal arrow. That's like the equivalent of lighting the fires of Gondor. And you made it into this ping, boom. No. Look, I realize it's his vision, not my vision. I'm just thinking, if you're going to do this cool, if you're going to do this right, do it right. Do it right. And please explain to me what is burning when they light the signal fire, the signal flare. Can somebody tell me what's burning? Okay? Because there's like a little bit of paper on the end. They light this thing. And it looks like it goes out. And then it's like, I'm like, is there a natural gas leak under that? Like there's nothing connected to the arrow that when it hits, it shatters and creates an ignition source, like the oil of Poseidon or something like that. This arrow is tipped with the oil of Poseidon and will burn for days. And there's none of that. There's no explanation as to why this arrow lights stone on fire. It just does, because the script said so. This movie suffers from a lot of because the script said so syndrome. Like I said, they fixed so many of the plot holes and opened all brand new ones. And then the end, Jared Leto's part, freaking fantastic, absolutely tremendous. And then they turn Superman into the villain because he just wasn't dark enough in the other 3 films. I mean, that's Superman. Wow, we've really got to make him dark. We've got to make him evil Superman. Because this script said so. Because reasons. We saw that in Smallville. We saw that in Superman 2. We've seen, or Superman 3, pardon me, with Black Kryptonite. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I'm not saying it isn't in the comic books. I'm not saying, but can we make it more than a couple of films before you go with psychotic killer evil psycho Superman who kills everybody because Lois Lane died? He becomes Darkseid's bestie because Lois Lane got killed. Boy, that's some serious mind effery going on there, that you convince Superman to help you destroy and rule the earth because they killed your wife. Because that doesn't seem like a Darkseid thing. See, Darkseid never struck me as the conniving villain. He's more of a head-on, punch you in the face, kill you, take over your world kind of villain. Not one of this little sniveling, conniving, get in your brain and make you believe stuff that isn't real. Okay, maybe I don't understand. Like I said, I'm not a comicologist. I don't understand all the things about so I need somebody to explain some stuff to me maybe or something, but that doesn't seem like Darkseid's style. I mean, he just went and said, let's launch an armada. We're going to go wipe these plebs out. Not like, we're going to go hang in orbit for 20 minutes while I get in contact with Superman's Darkseid. He's going to help me kill the planet because I'm going to make it look like that they offed his girlfriend. And then we're going to conquer the Earth. So, my feeling about this film is mixed. It is yes and no. Like, all they needed was to take a little bit more time, go back, figure out the F-ups, and fix them. Get them out of the film, find explanations, close the plot holes, figure out the reasons for why stuff's happening, and don't leave us hanging on things that aren't supposed to be cliffhangers. Another thing, is it just me, or how many times can Jason Momoa rip off his shirt and throw it to the side before he jumps in the ocean? I mean, I know of at least 2 times he did it in this film, but I'm like, he's the king of the sea, lord of the ocean, the protector of all. But as I'm walking down this pier, I'm going to chug this bottle of Jack Daniels or bourbon or whatever. And then I'm going to walk out, and just for good measure, I'm going to shatter a glass bottle on a walkway where children probably play. Because that's what heroes do. Now, I know he wasn't really considering himself a hero at this point, and it's one of the problems with this Aquaman is that he's too damn dark, too. Now, I love Jason Momoa, and I love his portrayal. He makes a great Aquaman, but at the same time, Fishman, protector of the ocean, I'm going to rip this shirt off because I'm all about protecting the ocean, and I'm going to throw it in the water where it will wash up on shore as trash. Or it may get in a dolphin's mouth and choke it to death. I mean, who knows the possibilities for the horrors of people get mad about plastic straws, and Jason Momoa is out in the ocean breaking bottles, throwing t-shirts off, and getting naked except for his pants. I don't understand. Why are you putting shirts on in the first place if you're going to take them off every 5 minutes? Well, they're baggy and they stick to me and it's tight when I'm swimming. Then stop putting them on. Or if you're going to take them off, go over, throw them in the garbage, give them to a friend, and then jump in the ocean. You're supposed to be the protector of the sea, not the trash compactor of the sea. You see what I mean about the mixed moral messaging here? Like, I mean, I'm not an environmental fanatic, but I kept sitting there thinking, you guys are really struggling with messaging. Protector of the sea, God of the ocean. Don't mind me, I'm going to break this glass bottle so the next time I come through here, I cut the shit out of my feet. And the worst part is, this is probably going to be the best DC movie we get forever now, because J.J. Abrams is involved in the DC stuff now. I mean, we're going to get Robert Pattinson's twink Batman. Yay! Can't wait to not go see that, because I'm never watching that film. I don't care if it's hailed as the best Batman film ever. No way. No way. That won't get 1 cent of my money. And Batman is my favorite hero. Like, him and Superman are like, they're like this. It's really close. Superman's right there. But Batman still edges him out. But I'm not going. And this new Superman reboot, I'm not going to that either. Because anything that has J.J. Abrams stink on it, I don't want anything to do with it now. He has destroyed 2 of my favorite franchises. I'm not sticking around for 3. So, anyway, I know people are going to, the 7 people that are going to watch this review are going to be like, that's the longest possible review he could have made. He is the most negative human being on earth. It's okay, because only 7 people are going to see it, and nobody's going to watch the entire thing. Nobody. But I did it for me, really, because this film deserved better. This film was given a second chance. It's not going to get another. I don't think. But they still left major plot holes, major problems, moral issues, all kinds of stuff that should have been easy to fix. They should have taken 2 lines of dialogue here, an extra scene there, and they could have explained why they lost the Earth, how they lost the Earth, how is that even possible, why the Amazons are shooting at each other, why they are so stupid at protecting the mother boxes. What all these things that I brought up, calling it the Kryptonian ship instead of the Superman ship. And the worst of all is the worst Lex Luthor of all time. The worst doesn't really... You could have had Bruce Willis. You could have gotten literally almost any other bald man or man who looks good when bald. You could have shaved anybody's head and made it. You could have shaved my head and I would have made a better Lex Luthor than what's his face? Rosen, I don't remember his name. I purposely try and forget it. He was great in Now You See Me, and Now You See Me Too. But he's not Lex Luthor. He never was. It's like casting the guy who played Mini-Me to be the Joker. Like, no. You're fired. Whoever casted him, you're fired from Hollywood. Forever. Anyway, that's my review, guys. I still give this... I'll give it 7 stars. I'll give it 7 stars. Because overall, it's still a good movie. It just had some serious flaws that needed to be fixed. But I still like it. And if I ever get a chance to buy it, I'm going to buy it. Because the other Justice League film copy that I have, it's going out the window today. I may make a video of burning that copy of the Justice League just to know that it's never going to get seen by anybody again. At least not that copy. So thank you for watching. Thanks for those of you who stuck through it to the end. Let me know if you agree, if you disagree. Just be nice. I mean, try and see it from a different perspective. Zack Snyder zealots, please just don't watch this. Go watch something else, because I don't want to hear you. This is the best movie ever made. It's the best superhero movie of all time. Because it's not. It's not. It's good, but it's not the best. It is a far superior product to what we got. But when you consider the benchmark was so low that literally Zack Snyder could have filmed 2 extra hours of black screen and it would have been better, that's kind of a low bar. But still, it was a lot better than that. So don't get bogged down in the fact that I told you the negative stuff that I found in it, because there's still a lot of great stuff in it. William Dafoe, which I finally remembered his name, because after you get so tired, all the synapses just start firing at once. I mean, really, truly. So anyway, thanks for watching. And I'll probably break this up into segments because it is extremely long. At this point, it's nearly 2 hours long. You could have watched half the film in the time you've watched this. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye now.